Hello guys. Today I'm actually going to be talking about all of these different GameCube accessories. Um so uh let's begin. Now, this console was still in the era of popularity of people tripping over the controller, because it has the wired. It's a standard wired GameCube controller. And they came in purple and orange. I think they maybe had a few clear colors and then a bunch of like really like off the market controllers too. I think they had a Logitech controller. Yeah, I think that's what it was called. But this is the standard controller for it. And yeah, that's all I can really say. It feels awesome mainly because I grew up with the damn thing and I love it to death and just feels so right. And you can also play it on your Wii. The Wii also has these four little slots here for the GameCube because the Wii can also play GameCube games, which is awesome. And for certain virtual console games on the Wii as well, like old SNES games, which is pretty cool. And you can use this to play Game Boy Advance games on the GameCube, which I will get to the other accessory that I have there. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's got a C stick instead of instead of the directional pad right there. Come on, focus. Oh well, but yeah, like instead of the awkward buttons, you get a nice little stick to push around, which is pretty cool. And the thumbstick actually feels really good too. It's got a Z button, LR, standard crap, and a little classic directional pad for other stuff. Alright, so that's that. But if you're not a big fan of wired controllers, Nintendo thought way ahead of you and created the Wavebird controller. Now, this specific controller I thought was broken for the longest time, but if you look closely, there's a little wheel right here. If it can focus. I don't know, if you can see this wheel, hopefully you can. Come on. Well, there's a wheel right here. And it has numbers on it. I'm trying to get it to focus. Oh, there we go. It's got... Ah, crap. It's got little numbers on it. And if this wheel is not set to the right number that this wheel on the controller is, because there's numbers on that too. I don't know if you can barely see it, but there are numbers on that on the controller as well. And if they're both not set to the same number, the controller will not connect at all. And that confirms that the controller is on and is working. Because I kept this in a drawer for about 7 years. Because I thought it was broken. I didn't think much of turning the wheel because I didn't notice it was really there. But the Wavebird is actually one of the most sought after and most popular controllers because of the fact that it's a wireless controller. And yeah, they had this in silver and then deep white. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty much the same as the standard controller, except it's got this little kind of like a box in the middle of it instead of this little open gap. But yeah, pretty much the same exact thing. I guess you can consider the next accessory a controller as well, because you in fact connect this into the control port right there. And you can use this to connect to the Game Boy Advance SP, which is freaking awesome. Then this is in conjunction with games that either require you to use or you could use the Game Boy Advance extras that were on certain games. Like in Wind Waker, you could use the Tingle Tuner in the game and connect your Game Boy Advance to the to Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, and you could give yourself items with the rupees you had in the game, and yeah, It was pretty cool. And then this is also required to play multiplayer in Legend of Zelda: The Four Swords Adventure for Game Gear. I mean GameCube. Yeah, Game Gear, because Sega makes box Game Gears now. But yeah, that's a really awesome accessory, and it's also an ability to play with this as a controller on the big screen for the accessory that I will talk about in a little bit. I know I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm kind of going along a little line here. You know, everyone loves, you know, that next accessory. And then we got the memory cards. These are essential. If you do not have a memory card, you cannot save your game. It is almost impossible. If you don't have any kind of memory card, that's it. You lose your save data unless you play through the game in one go, which I wouldn't recommend because that will put a strain on your eyes. But yeah, this right here, this 16 Mad Catz one, it has about a little over 1,000 blocks if you delete everything on it. And then this one has about maybe 100, I think. I put a lot of them, I don't know, the more adventurous kind of games on here, games that I'm playing through currently on that one, and then a lot of the extra games on this one. But yeah, memory cards, they are essential to have for the GameCube. And unfortunately, you have to get a separate memory card for Animal Crossing, or else your all the rest of your data could be corrupted, basically, which, you know, kind of sucks. So yeah. So another kind of controller here. It is the GameCube microphone. Now, what this is a way for you to command certain options in games like Mario Party 6 and 7, Odama, and Karaoke Revolution. I don't know many other games that actually use this, but from my knowledge, those are the 4 main games that you use it for. And it was actually kind of cool, especially for Mario Party. And it goes into the memory card slot. I'm going to assume it's the one that you don't have the save data for. I don't know if you put this in A or B and then you have the other one used. I don't really know how that works. I usually just put in the second slot and it still worked. But yeah, it's a cool accessory. You hold down the button and you speak into it. It's pretty cool. The last and final accessory that I have, it's kind of like a double accessory here because it has 2 parts. This is the Game Boy Advance player, or the Game Boy player. I always call it the Advance player because I only really play advanced games on this one. I don't really play too many Game Boy games on the Game Boy player. But this allows you to play Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color on the GameCube. But it is a requirement to have the startup disc, which I have in this nice little sleeve right here. I kind of wish I kept the box for it, but it's whatever. It comes in this little GameCube disc. It's a nice little white disc. And you have to have this disc or else it will not work at all. And I've seen where people have bought this and they don't get this, and then they get like super pissed that this doesn't work. So if you're ever looking for this, make sure you get this along with it. You get this tiny little white disc or else it will not work. But yeah, it's really cool to just play Game Boy Advance and Game Boy / Game Boy Color games on this thing. And for the longest time, I did not know this was the ejector. You slide this and it pops out the game. Because I would always get my fingernail in there and then pop out the game manually. So yeah, here's that. And then you have these like little screw things you use to kind of bolt it down into the system, which, you know, prevents it from falling off while playing. I don't know why it would, but yeah, this is a really nice piece of hardware. But anyways, guys, that is pretty much all of the GameCube accessories that I own. if you know of any other GameCube accessories I may have missed, let me know, and maybe I'll check them out. I don't know that many other accessories that really connected to anything else aside from like different controllers and stuff like that, because these are the main accessories that a lot of people buy for it. I mean, more or less the mic. The mic is not that really sought after because it's not really required to play a bunch of games on the GameCube, just like a select few. But yeah, this is a nice selection of accessories. So thank you guys for watching, and as always, it's okay to be a little crazy about video games.